But it's a big win for the Yankees. It's a good performance, and it's a good confidence builder for Carlos Rodón.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thanks for making us your first listen. I'm Brian McKeon. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances at Monarch Money. Use code one word LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Now, I'm Brian McKeon, one half of Locked On Yankees as usual. Stacey Gotsulis is on the IL today, but she did watch the game. She did see Jazz Chisholm return to the lineup, and she will be back with us tomorrow and the rest of this week. Now, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform that you prefer, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Also, our TikTok is now going to be active and more active than ever, so feel free to subscribe on there and follow along on there for my daily shorts. You can find us on YouTube, like all our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. And if you have that notification available, you saw Stacey's short this morning of Jazz Chisholm Jr. returning to the lineup, but Luke Weaver getting hurt. Both of those big storylines in game one against Cleveland. The Yankees did get the victory, but a little bit shaky stuff coming out of that game. So on today's show, we're going to preview what game two looks like for the Yankees against the Guardians, what game one looked like for the Yankees and the Guardians. And we're going to talk a little bit about Luke Weaver's injury, what Jeff Passan reported, and what we could really expect out of that barking hamstring, and if we could expect a quick return out of Luke Weaver. But game one of this series, and I think the big storyline coming in was, Jazz Chisholm Jr. returning to the lineup. Now, will he play third base? Will he play second base? That kind of determines on how DJ LeMahieu plays. And the other storyline was how Carlos Rodón was going to look in this game. Now, we expected the Dodger game again with Max Fried to look the way it did, right? We kind of expected that Max Fried would have his slow down performance, would have his performance where he gives up a little more than usual, and he gives you the 6-run performance against one of the better teams in baseball. Now, the question we really didn't ask is, when is that performance coming for Carlos Rodón? Really hasn't come all year, and Carlos Rodón once again impresses. He gives you 7 innings of 1-run ball, 5 hits, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. His ERA is now down to 2.49, and he kind of gets masked by how good Max Fried has been. And if you look back to 2 off seasons ago when the Yankees signed Carlos Rodón, one of the biggest offseason signings, they give him that massive deal, over $30 million a year, and he was set up to be the number 2 behind Garrett Cole. He winds up being your number 2 still this year, but now it's behind Max Fried, and he's having his best year as a Yankee by far. Again, just battles throughout this game, and Cleveland's a good team. Cleveland's going to be a fishy team, and we mentioned this on yesterday's show. This is a good litmus test for the Yankees this game. Now, the Yankees should be better than Cleveland. Just like we said, the Yankees should win the American League this year. But you got to take care of teams like Cleveland. You have to beat teams like Cleveland. And they are always kind of a team that's competitive every single year, stays in the race every year. They've really had a stranglehold over the AL Central the last couple of years. And being able to get this win against Cleveland in game one of the series, now there's 2 games left. We don't know how they're going to look, but it's a big win for the Yankees. It's a good performance, and it's a good confidence builder for Carlos Rodón. Looks really good in this game, proves to himself that he's able to pitch against the Guardians and shut this lineup down, which is exactly what he did in this game. Now on to Mark Leiter Jr. He's able to get through unscathed, looks really good, only has a walk. He's got that confidence that we're sure of, and he's going to have a bigger role going forward with Luke Weaver out of the lineup. We're going to discuss more of that in segment 2, but I do find it interesting how Mark Leiter Jr. is the first guy that Aaron Boone goes to. Will the 8th inning be one of those back and forth? We'll see what we get out of what guy and who fits in what matchup right on what night. Is that what Aaron Boone's going to do? Or is he going to go with a different approach, and is he going to kind of solidify an 8th inning guy while Luke Weaver's out? I think it's going to be a little more fluid like that on a day-to-day basis, on a who to pitch to who and what lane he fits in basis, but we don't know what Aaron Boone's going to wind up doing. So I thought Mark Leiter Jr. was a very interesting place to go with that part of the lineup. And then Devin Williams comes in the 9th inning. And it was mentioned on the broadcast by Kay late in this game. It's worth noting that Luke Weaver has been great all year, but Devin Williams has struggled in predominantly the 9th inning role. In the 8th inning, Devin Williams has been fine. He's been really good, actually. His ERA is a lot lower. Now where he with a 6 ERA comes in all year is out of the ninth inning, which is kind of strange because he's dominated the ninth inning a lot of his career, but he struggled out of it. It's one of the reasons why he lost the closer role this year, and it's one of the reasons why Luke Weaver has took over. With Luke Weaver looking like he's going to be gone for a significant amount of time, this Devin Williams spot is going to be crucial. And you did see him struggle. The Guardians got a run back. It wound up making Volpe's home run, the game-winning home run in this game, and the game-winning hit. But he got through it. And the confidence there, now this is another save in a row for Devin Williams. The confidence shown in Boone, leaving him in that game, letting him get through the problem, and letting him get the save is big. You see it with Devin Williams. It's not like his stuff is gone, right? The changeup is still as filthy as ever. The fastball is still great. He locates perfectly. So he's got it in him. He hasn't lost his stuff, that's for sure. The velocity's still there. The movement's still there. Everything that he needs to be the Devin Williams of old is still there. It's just about being consistent now. It's just about knowing his role and staying in his role and being able to get comfortable. We've mentioned this multiple times on Locked On Yankees over the last few weeks. Devin Williams pretty much has lost the closer role all year, and Luke Weaver took it over. He was going to need his opportunity. Here's your opportunity, Devin Williams. You're going to have roughly a month to be able to take the closer role down. And, the Yankees acquired Devin Williams to be their closer. They went into opening day this year with Devin Williams as their closer, which means he's a closer. They acquired him to pitch the ninth inning. So if Devin Williams is able to re-solidify that role, he's going to win the role back, and he's going to take the ninth inning role, and it's going to be his role going forward. This may have been the opportunity that he needed, and he might have gotten, sort of lucky. Can he Wally Pip Luke Weaver? That's to be seen. That's to be determined. But he's going to control his own destiny now, and he's going to have plenty of opportunities to do so, really pretty much going up to the All-Star break. So we'll see how that all works itself out. To the offense, the Jazz Chisholm stuff is a big deal because it really determines it's really based on how DJ LeMahieu plays, whether or not they're going to have to go out there and acquire somebody, and whether they have to go out and acquire a third baseman or a second baseman. If Jazz is going to play the opposite position, and DJ gets an RBI single in the fifth inning in this game to open up the scoring, and it really was the Yankees getting a lead in this game. Jazz then homers to really, put himself back in this lineup. So if both of those guys are going to hit and both of those guys are going to impress, it's going to make the Yankees' decision of going out and getting someone at the deadline a bigger decision. Now, I think we're both under the understanding that DJ LeMahieu is not an everyday major leaguer anymore. He's a bench player. I think he fits the lineup really well, but he's not an everyday major leaguer, which means you're going to have to acquire someone at the deadline regardless. That's going to determine, though, where you want Jazz playing. They went into the year with Jazz being the second baseman. They went through spring training with Jazz as the second baseman. Him and Volpe developed a little bit of a rapport all year. Do you want to keep him at second base, or do you want to put him at third where he can play? I think the market's going to determine that, along with the play of DJ LeMahieu. Now, we know the Yankees are loyal to LeMahieu, but I think they can see, too, the odds of him staying healthy throughout the rest of the year and the odds of him going into October healthy the rest of the year, pretty much slim to none at this point. And also, Anthony Volpe, late in this game, homers. It winds up being the game-winning hit, and we discussed it last week, and it needs to be said still. Anthony Volpe quietly is having a very, very good season for the Yankees. He's on pace for over 20 home runs, on pace for over 90 RBIs. The average is a little lower than you'd like it to be, but the on base is in the mid-350s, which is where you wanted it to be for Anthony Volpe. So maybe he's not Bobby Witt Jr., and that's okay. Him not being one of the best shortstop in the league is okay. He's going to struggle at times. He's going to be streaky. What it's about for Anthony Volpe is keeping that streakiness to a little bit of a shorter degree than it's been. You don't want it to last for a month and a half like it has early on in his career. Now, he was a rookie, and that happens. Remember, Anthony Volpe should still be in college right now, and he's playing shortstop for his favorite team that he grew up less than 30 miles from. A little bit of a tough spot for him. But if he's able to keep playing more consistent like this and keeping those slumps to a shorter degree, I think Anthony Volpe is going to be an outstanding player for this team, and he could be on the Yankees for a long time. Now, the Yankees are now 11-11 in one-run games. They're 6-1 in their last 7 one-run games. So they started the year off not playing well in one-run games, and that has kind of corrected itself. Again, going 6-1 in your last 7 games, now you're 11-11, you're 500. We've stated it a million times, but it can't be stated enough. Winning those close games, being able, the blowouts are one thing. You're going to be able to win those games. You're going to be able to score a lot of runs against the bad teams in baseball. What it's about is winning those games that are short run games, because remember, when you play these games in October, you don't get the 13-1. You don't get the 10-run innings in October. Most of those games end 3-2. Most of those games end 4-3. And it's about being able to win those games and to be comfortable playing in those games. Both things are absolutely crucial. The Yankees getting more familiar with that and playing better in those games, absolutely key. If the manager knew how to manage a bullpen better, it would only make you that much more comfortable. Now, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, and hit the notification so that you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. Now, the link is in the description. You'll get texts from us, and you can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades, and signings. We also send out the lineups during the season every day. You'll get roster moves, breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. It makes it a lot more convenient for you guys. You get all your Yankee updates streamlined into one place for you if you're an insider on Locked On Yankees. There's also a 14-day free trial, so you can see how much you like it and get in contact with me and Stacey whenever you want. Now, coming up, we're going to discuss why the Luke Weaver injury is going to mean a lot for this Yankee team. You ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all of my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's very easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over all of your finances. And Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investing, and spending all in one place. So you just stop managing your money and you can start building wealth. Now, when I started using Monarch Money, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. And now I budget smarter. I save more. I cook at home more often. It really works out perfectly. And instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan for those long-term goals. And guess what? Managing your money with your partner has become smoother than ever now with Monarch Money. You can track your shared and personal accounts with your special someone and set goals so you can both stay on the same page without all the stress involved. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. So, guys, the Luke Weaver injury, if you noticed early on in the morning or late last night, actually, after me and Stacey had recorded yesterday's episode. So if you watched Monday's episode or Tuesday's episode, I guess, you didn't get a clear view on what happened with the Luke Weaver injury because the news didn't come out yet. So me and Stacey, we'll discuss more of it tomorrow, but I'm going to break it down for you today. Basically, Jeff Passan came through last night with the news. Luke Weaver, after feeling a little bit of tightness in his hamstring, left the bullpen session that he was throwing late in the game and reported an injury in his hamstring. It looks like it's a slightly tight hamstring they're describing it as. Passan did report the injury. It should last 4 to 6 weeks. That's a rough estimate, though, because hamstrings are tricky, especially with pitchers. You don't know when they're going to bark up. And the thing about hamstrings, you see it throughout all sports, right? You really don't know where that injury is at until you try to push it the next time, until you try to go 100% the next time. So this could be one of those injuries that Luke Weaver tried to get back as soon as possible, and then he feels it tighten up again, and you kind of got to restart your whole process. It's very difficult to recover from hamstring injuries and to necessarily know when you're fully recovered from hamstring injuries. So I think the 4 to 6 week mark is a nice way to look at it, but we really, truthfully, don't know what the timetable is going to be, which means Devin Williams is going to get his fair share. He's going to get his opportunity. He's going to get all the chances he could possibly need to be able to keep himself as in the closer role. And I wanted to mention too, it is significant Luke Weaver being out now because he has taken over the closer role this year. He's by far been their best reliever, and that's coming from a bullpen that's had a really good year. He's got 8 saves on the year. He's got a 1.05 ERA, and that's really after the last game when he gave up a run to the Dodgers, because prior to that, his ERA was below 1 all year. He's really had an unbelievable year, especially coming into a year where it looked like his job was gone. It looked like his job was done, right? It looked like they acquired Devin Williams. They bring in a new closer, one of the better closers in all the league. And it looked like Luke Weaver was going to be destined to be an 8th inning guy. Still a great spot for him after where he came from, but he thought he had solidified the closer role. And this is a guy that went from closing out games in the World Series to all of a sudden getting demoted in a sense to the 8th inning role. Now, there's no shame in getting demoted to Devin Williams, but Luke Weaver slid right back into the role when Devin Williams struggled, and he's right back where he started as the closer of the Yankees. And this injury's got to stink for him, right? It's got to be a sore spot for him. It's got to really be tough because you miss time like this, and this is how things in sports happen, right? This is how more often than not a guy that's performing loses his spot in the lineup. The other guy that comes in and replaces you winds up playing so well they can't take him out of the lineup, and Devin Williams has the opportunity to prove that now. And, you know, I think there's a good chance Devin Williams does that because Devin Williams is one of the premier arms in the league, and you see it with the changeup, right? You watch him pitch. He's got everything it takes. Has it been a struggled year so far? Absolutely. But to think that Devin Williams can't go forward and post a sub-1 ERA like Luke Weaver has all year in the next month, you're out of your mind. The Yankees acquired Devin Williams to be their closer of the future. They definitely intend on giving him a long-term deal at the end of this season, and definitely intend on keeping him in the Bronx for as long as humanly possible. So they want him to achieve, and they want him to play well. There was no justification prior to putting him in over Luke Weaver with the way Luke Weaver has looked. But now Luke Weaver's hurt. Luke Weaver can't pitch. This is Devin Williams' opportunity. I would say right now, because of when the All-Star break is, they're probably going to leave Luke Weaver out of the lineup until the All-Star break. Just doesn't make sense to bring him back at this point. That probably brings you to right around the 6-week mark and around mid-July. And that's what makes the most sense for the Yankees. Let him get fully healed. The Yankees already have a 7-game lead on the division now. They don't, you need the wins and you want to stay consistent, but they're not battling for the division. They're not 5 games under 500 when they need these wins. You're able to win games clearly like they showed last night. To be able to win games without having Luke Weaver necessarily in the lineup all week. It's going to be important is having Luke Weaver available in October, having Luke Weaver available late September. So get him healthy, get him ready to come back, and see where he fits into the lineup when he's ready to come back. Luckily, if you're into the bullpen, if the bullpen concerns you with Luke Weaver getting hurt, there are reinforcements coming back. Jonathan Loaizaga has been back for a bit. They've shown more trust in him as he's come back. So I look for them to give him a little more crucial roles. And they did use Mark Leonard Jr. in the 8th inning of this game on Tuesday night. That's a little bit to look into. He pitched well, only had a walk, give up no runs, no hits. So, and I've always liked what Mark Leonard Jr. brings. We've seen the snarl on his face, the attitude that he has in games. He's a big time pitcher. He's a big game pitcher. So I'm not concerned with what they do at Mark Leonard Jr. Fernando Cruz should be back soon. He's pitching bullpens already. He doesn't really need a big ramp up period. So he'll probably only get a few games in Somerset, New Jersey, and he'll be right back with the team in the Bronx. And Tim Hill, he's been really good this year too so far. So he's more of your lefty specialist, but they do have big arms towards the back end of their bullpen. They do have guys they trust. So I'm not really too concerned with how they're going to make things work. Obviously, the Luke Weaver injury is a big injury, but they're going to be able to piece things together. They're going to be able to figure things out. And again, this gives Devin Williams the perfect opportunity. Are there positives out of this? Sure. I guess we can look at those, right? Obviously, Luke Weaver getting hurt isn't a great thing, but everybody now in that bullpen will take an elevated role. And that's an important thing, right? Because what if one of these guys gets hurt in late September? What if, God forbid, we're going to knock on wood here, but what if Fernando Cruz goes down in late September and they need Jonathan Loaizaga now to pitch, in the 8th inning? They need Jonathan Loaizaga to pitch in the 7th inning in big spots. Well, he's going to get those opportunities now to get ready for those situations. He's going to get ready for those opportunities now to get used to pitching in late spots with runners on in big crucial situations. And that's going to mean a lot, having him ready for those situations. So I'd look at that as a positive. And also, this will take some innings off of Luke Weaver's arm. Now, ideally, did you want that to happen? No. But Luke Weaver is now going to go into October. He's going to go into the rest of this year with less innings on his arm, which means he won't have fatigue late in the year. If they make a World Series run, there won't be fatigue at that point in the season. He'll have more of a fresh arm. You don't hold players out intentionally because you want their arm to stay fresh, but you almost wish you could at times, right? Because it keeps guys fresher, it keeps guys available, it keeps guys in the lineup, and it keeps throwing a little harder and a little more focused later on in those months like October when you're needing guys to be able to be out there at full strength. So you did see Luke Weaver lose a little gas in the tank later on last year in the World Series. Obviously, he was nothing close to the reason why they lost that World Series, but still, if he has a little more of that gas in the tank left over because of this month and a half that he's been out, it could end up being a mini blessing in disguise for the Yankees. So all in all, tough. He'll be out for a month and a half. I don't expect him back before the All-Star break, but Devin Williams is going to get his chance. You're going to have your relievers pitching in more higher velocity situations, which is key for them. And Luke Weaver will keep some innings off of his arm. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that could happen to the Yankees. There's a lot of their injuries that could have derailed their season. This isn't necessarily one of them. All right, coming up, we're going to discuss Game 2 against the Guardians and some news around baseball. There's a team that won 2 games in a row for the second time all year. We'll discuss them along with a superstar returning to the lineup. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. And whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order all of your products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. You need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for the trade pros looking for that extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts available on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. So the Yankees will get going for game 2 of the series against the Guardians in the Bronx. That'll take place on Amazon Prime. So for any of you guys out there that struggle to find Amazon Prime or go to the game and wonder why is it not on why is it not on Gotham, it's going to be on Amazon Prime. So get your TV ready, get ready for the little strip gray line that runs down your screen. Remember, if you refresh or go out of it, you can go back in and the gray thing goes away. Me and Stacey discovered a few weeks ago that is for everybody, not just the two of us, thankfully. Luis Ortiz will go for Cleveland. He's 2-6 with a 4.40 ERA on the season. He'll take on Clark Schmidt, looking to bounce back from a really good start he had earlier on last week. He's 2-2 with a 3.95. His ERA is now below 4. So let's see if Clark Schmidt can build off of things with going up against the pretty decent Cleveland lineup. This Cleveland team is good, and like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a mini litmus test for the Yankees, right? Is Cleveland the best team in the American League? No, and they're not even the best team in their division, but this is the team you wind up seeing, and this is one of the better teams in the American League. And if you're going to be the best team in the American League and you're going to fancy yourself as one of the American League favorites going forward as the Yankees, you're going to have to win these games. You're going to have to take on these teams and beat these teams, right? You're going to get Max Fried going in game 3 of this series. That will be on That's your return. He's 7-1 with a 1.92 ERA. He'll go against Slade Ciccone. What a cool name, right? 1-1 with a 5.28. That game will be on on Thursday night. The Yankees did lose 2 out of 3 games to Cleveland early on in April when they were in Cleveland. So this is a good start to the series, getting game 1, being able to solidify it. So, I like what I saw out of the Yankees in game 1. I did. You got Jazz Chisholm involved. He homered in this game. Volpe homered in this game. So the power was there, and also LeMahieu getting a hit, right? He's going to try and make the Yankees' decision of acquiring someone a really tough decision, and we'll see if LeMahieu is capable of doing that. There are some baseball tidbits that came out of the rest of the league, so I do want to add those things in. Last night, Mike Trout returned to the lineup finally. He's not hurt yet. He didn't get hurt again. And in Mike Trout fashion, they played the Red Sox. They beat the Red Sox, so it does help the Yankees out a little bit. And he hit a 454-foot home run to return to the lineup. So it looks like Mike Trout is feeling A-okay. Really one of the weirder anomalies in all sports, right? Is there a better professional athlete and a better superstar that gets hurt more than Mike Trout? I can't think of one, right? What a sort of wasted career as it's been so far, because when he plays, he's unbelievable. Great power hitter, great RBIs, unbelievable batting average, but he's never on the field. And, forget the postseason stuff. Mike Trout is never able to be on the field when it matters most. So we'll see if he can stay healthy the rest of this year. I don't think we expect much out of the Los Angeles Angels, but, we'll see what Mike Trout can do the rest of the season. It's still fun to watch him play. Now, a team that's not fun to watch play at all, the Colorado Rockies, they won their 10th and 11th games of the year. So weird how they went on a 2-game winning streak. Now, it is their second 2-game winning streak of the year, which is crazy. They did beat the Marlins, and they've won their series against the Marlins, which is their first series victory of the year. Think for a second how brutally bad that statistic is. It is their second series victory. It is their first series victory of the year. It is their second 2-game winning streak of the year. They're now 11-50 on the season. It's remarkable how bad they are. And by the way, you would think Colorado, with how bad their team has played this year, would have a remarkably low payroll and be a team that's just trying to collect on the shared revenue and get through their season. Well, guess again. Colorado's payroll is close to the $150 million mark. They have just spent poorly. They ate a lot of the Nolan Arenado contract when they traded him away to the Cardinals a few years ago, and they are paying Chris Bryant an abhorrent amount of money when Chris Bryant is not able to play for them. So they are in a world of hurt. They are also not able to get the first overall pick next year because of the way they fell in the draft the year prior. They're well on pace to break the Chicago White Sox record of last year for the worst record in baseball history. So What a terrible year, and what a bad showing for the Marlins to lose a series to the Rockies before you even play Game 3 of the series. I mean, you got to be better than that. That's just pathetic at this point. Also, Ronel Blanco of the Astros, he'll go undergo Tommy John surgery on Friday, effectively ending his season, and that's tough for the Astros, right? They have really struggled to get it going all year. They're a 500 team. They're right around the same place in their division as everybody else in the middle of the pack, right? I still believe the Texas Rangers are the team that's going to be able to overtake them in that division. They've struggled to score runs, but with getting Corey Seager back into that lineup, if he's able to consistently provide some power, they're only 3 games under 500. They're 4.5 games back. I think if you're into the gambling spectrum too, Texas would be a really good live bet right now to win the AL West. They're right there. Again, I don't believe in Seattle very much. I don't think they're going to score a lot. They can pitch, but they can't really score a lot. Their run differential is only +8 as well, which is not a good sign for a team leading a division. The Astros run differential is +18, so you'd think there's a better chance they could be able to win this division. But again, with injuries now looming and people really wondering whether they're going to make moves at the deadline, they might wind up selling. They're only 33-27. It feels like a down year for them. We'll see what they can wind up doing, but they have not been the Astros of old, especially with losing Alex Bregman out of their lineup. That is a really tough loss, and he's currently hurt for the Red Sox, but he had a really good year before getting hurt. So Texas is the team for me that I think I worry about a lot in that division. And just to give you some perspective on the White Sox, they're now 11-50. Their win percentage goes up to 180, so a massive improvement after what me and Stacey talked about yesterday. They're now only 25.5 games back from the Dodgers, so look at it if you're LA. They've improved to 6. They're now 6-22 at home. They're 5-28 on the road. And they only have a -182 run differential now. So they're getting better, right? If you're Colorado fans, other than seeing that beautiful stadium in the summertime and getting together with your friends and enjoying the atmosphere out in Colorado, you can also watch your team develop, maybe. I don't know. They don't have prospects, so there really isn't much going on there. That is just a bad situation. But it's actually somewhat entertaining to watch them potentially break that record because they've been all kinds of bad all year. I want to say thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. And for your second listen, make sure you check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. It's every game, every night, all season long. You get local analysis on a national scale, which is so beautiful. And you can see some familiar faces in there. My shorts appear on there every now and again when they break down Yankees news. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for me with this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Brian McKeon, and I'll see you with Stacey Gotsulias tomorrow.